Hey guys, this is Janice. Welcome back to my channel. And the reason why I'm back is because I promised all my viewers that I was going to be back sometime this week to make another video on how to make a design on a plastic canvas. And today I am very excited to show everyone all the samples that I have made, and I will show you how I made them. Okay, the materials that I would need in order to make this plastic canvas project. But first, before I get into the materials, I want to show you what items I made with the plastic canvas. Here I made a little Christmas tree, and I used buttons for the bulbs or little decorations for the Christmas tree. And I also made a little string up here to hang it on your Christmas tree or on the doorknob of your rooms. And I also made a tissue box out of plastic canvas. As you can see, I use different colors. And this is a really simple thing to make. First, you make the frame for the tissue box. And then, of course, you buy the tissue box, the upright ones. And then after you're done with that, and then you just put it right over the tissue box, and then it's all complete. And for this kind of project, you can use this for your car. You can also put it in the bathroom to make it look very decorative. You can also make Christmas colors. So there's different options that you can make with this tissue box. I also went ahead and I made this really cute picture of a cat, and I named the cat Goldie. And this is a really simple project to make. As you can see on this plastic canvas, I made a totally different stitch than I did on this little Christmas tree. But I will be showing you how I made that regarding the stitches. And these two stitches are really easy to make. And also, let me talk about the materials that you will be using. You will be using nail polish remover. The reason why using nail polish remover is because when you trace the design on your plastic canvas, sometimes maybe you can go a little over and then you can erase it by using this one here, the nail polish remover with a cotton ball, and that will remove the ink a lot easier. You will also need a plastic canvas. Now these plastic canvas, you can buy them at Walmart, at Michael's, or any arts and crafts stores. They cost about $2 or $3, and it's not a bad price. And they also come in different colors. And this one that I got today is in the color white because I will be adding different colors to it. But that's optional if you want to get a variety of colors. I will also be using a glue gun. Now, if you plan to make a Christmas tree like I did, and you want to glue some really tiny buttons or any decorations, you can use this glue gun. It's a lot easier to use because they stay on a lot better than using regular like school glue, Elmer's glue. And you will also need a pair of scissors. And then you will also be using any color of yarn of your choice. And like always, I always use the name brand Red Heart. So that's the material that I used. And also, if you have coloring books, you can cut out pictures from there, and then you can trace them onto your plastic canvas. Let me show you an example how I traced it. So I went on the computer and I Googled it, and I went to get a picture of a turkey. And then after, what I did is I put it underneath the plastic canvas, and with my permanent marker, I traced the picture onto the plastic canvas, and that's how I got the design. You can use coloring books if you have any, especially those pictures that are little jumbo pictures. Those are the best ones to use because they're big and they're easy to trace. So that's the reason why it's important to use a permanent marker. Don't use a pen. Don't use anything that smears because the design will get ruined. But the best way to go by is getting a permanent marker to do this project. Okay, so let me show you some other pictures that I printed out on the computer. I printed out a picture of a flower. Here's another design of a flower. Here's the picture of the cat, which I went ahead and I traced it onto this plastic canvas. And then I added a little detail to the cat on his ear, and I put a little bow. But that's all up to you, how creative you want to be. And that's some of the examples that I got from the computer to give you an idea how I made these designs onto the plastic canvas. So now I am going to proceed in showing you how to make those stitches. Okay, to make the simple stitch that I used in order to make this Christmas tree, I just cut a little piece off of the plastic canvas. That way I can give you an idea on how I did the stitch. Now I am not going to make the Christmas tree, but this is just basically a little sample on how to make the stitch. So for this stitch, this is a really simple stitch. What I'm going to start doing is I will be going into the first square here, and then I will pull the yarn right through and then go into the next square. After you have that in there, then you will go into the next square right below it, and you will insert your needle right below the first stitch. So you will do this. So this is how it's supposed to look. And then after that, you go to the next square right below it. Go into the stitch right in front of it. Pull right through it. And there is a stitch. So this is how it's supposed to look. Then you go to the next square right below it. You pull it. You go to the square right above it. And then you pull. Go to the next square right below it. You pull it. Go in front of that square. Insert your needle. And then you will pull right through. That's basically it for this kind of stitch. Now, when you go to the next one, you go right next to the next square. Then you go underneath and you pull the thread, and you will be going the opposite way. So you go in the front and then you pull. Then you go to the next square, pull, and then insert to the other square. Just like that. Then you go to the next square, pull, and go into this square right in front of it. So you'll be going the opposite direction. Go to the next square in front of it, and you go in back of that one. In front of it, pull the string all the way, and then you insert it right behind that other square. And that's how it should look. So this stitch is for this Christmas tree that I made, which is this one here. It's the same stitch. If you want to go ahead and make this one here with the cat, I will show you how to make these little squares, because this stitch that I used for the cat is the same one that I showed you here with the red yarn. Okay, so now let me show you how to make this other stitch. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and cut this off, and then I will show you how to make the next one. Okay, so for this one here, you will go into the second square from here, and then you will pull the yarn all the way through. But before that, make sure you make a knot at the end of your yarn, so that way it doesn't go through. Okay, so go into the second square, then you pull. You will go into this square right up diagonal, okay? So that would be 2 squares. Once you have the 2 squares, go to the square right below it, and then you pull, and then you count 1 square, 2 square, 3 square, and you pull the yarn right through. So you have 2 squares, 3. So the next one would be 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So go to the square right below it and go into the 4th square. Then you go to the one below that one and you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now you have to go through all those 5 squares. Okay, that's how it should look. Now you will go to the one below this one and you go underneath and you count 1, 2, 3, and 4. So you go into the 4th square. Now you will go into the third 3 squares, 1, 2, and 3. And then you always end it with 2 squares. Okay, so there is the first one that I made. Now, since we ended here at the bottom, we are going to work this way. We're going the opposite way. So you go into the next square, pull right through, and you start off with 2. You start with 2, you end with 2 squares. Now you will count 1, 2, 3. So go into the third square to finish it off here. After you have the 3 squares, then you count 1, 2, 3, 4. So you go into the 4 squares. Then you go to the next square that's right next to that one, and you will count 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you go into the 5th little square. Now you will count 4 squares. You have 1, 2, 3, and go into the 4th. Now you will count 3 squares. 1, 2, and 3. And then you go into the last 2 squares. And that's how it should look. So now that you're on the top, you will go into that second square from the top, and you will work going the opposite direction. So you start with 2 squares, then you go to 3 squares, and then you go into 4 squares. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4. And after the 4th, then you go to the 5th amount of squares. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Then you go down to 4 squares. then to 3 squares, and then you end it with 2 squares. And this is how it's supposed to look. That's exactly how we did the stitch on this little design here with the cat. The same one as I did with the white all the way around it. Okay, so this stitch is not really hard. You just have to really pay really close attention to the amount of squares that you do for each one. And as long as you have the square, you're in pretty good shape. And then you can always change the colors. If you want to stick to the same colors, you could. If you want to switch colors, that's another option to do that as well. So, well, I hope you enjoyed this video on how to make a design on plastic canvas. And if you are into crocheting and you want to learn more about it, this is the right channel to get into. So if you are interested, please subscribe to my channel. And if you have any questions or any concerns that you have in regards to crocheting, please leave them in the comment section below and I will get back to you as soon as possible. And I will see you next time, and I hope everyone is doing fine. Take care. Bye.